Feeney, Ravalawa, Sully and Lomax in the centres. Now it's a different halves combination to what we're used to. Connor Mollison's going to be in the number 6 jersey. He's going to have Ambai next to him. Good luck with that one. The front row, we've got Molo, Little at hooker, Laurie, Murdoch Masilla, Billy Burns, and Jaden Hunt, who's having a go at lock. On the bench, we've got Moga, Max Feeney, Michael Molo, and Josh Corrick. And on the extended bench, we've got Nick Louis Toso, Dan Russell, Hailey Finnell, Sione Finnell, Alex Lobb, Sevilio Tamali, and Jackson Sherrod.
Geez, you got through all of them nicely, mate. All right. Well, before we actually get into discussing that, we do have a bit of a news segment that we're going to kick off that Big T is running with. It's a news segment, but what I'm going to do now is I have a bit of an old intro, because I used to do a segment similar to this. This is a couple of years old, this intro, but we might just have a bit of a look at this, and then Big T will take us away.
Come with me as we go behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines, eh? That was great. St. Helens,
fantastic, Tommy.
We're playing St. Helens, and they're a very strong team with quality across the park. 4 premierships in the last 4 years, plus a Challenge Cup. They've done it all. Oh yes, well, we'll just go through the team. I'd like to bring someone in now who we've got a very special guest all the way from England. Johnny Lewis, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah, all right. How are we doing? Flew in especially.
All the way from sunny England. Yeah, I'll just run through the team.
All the way from sunny St. Helens.
I'll just run through the team and I'll ask you a couple of questions. You got Jack Wellesby, Tommy Makinson, and Jonathan Bennison on the wings. I don't know much about the St. Helens team, but I know it's quality, and it's the English squad. The whole English team's in that side. So,
well, I think we had 7 reps in the English side, so it's just phenomenal.
Just as good as the Mighty Dragons back in 2010. The level we had sort of the same. Yeah. Anyway, going back with the team, Hopewadi and Percival in the centres, Johnny Lomax and Lewis Dodd in the halves, Alex Wormsley and Matty Lees your front rowers, James Roby, Sione Matty Joe Batchelor are the back rowers, Morgan Knowles is locked in the scrum. And I'm not going to go through the whole lot. Go through your 17.
Yeah, there's 26 men there.
That's right. Yeah, Joey Lussick, McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Sirenin, and Ignatius Parsi. That's a great team on paper.
Yeah.
Who do the Dragons have to stop to thwart the St. Helens attack?
See, well, this is the biggest thing for me, because Saints last year went through since April without our number 1 scrum half, Lewis Dodd, who's a fantastic young player. He'd have been in the England squad had he not have had he ruptured his Achilles back in April. So Lewis Dodd, for me, is our real potent strike player. But Johnny Lomax, with his control of the game, and James Roby and his calm head, the spine for us is phenomenal, and no one captivates that more than Jack Wellesby. You may have seen him at the World Cup. I know he had a bit of a iffy game against Samoa, but he is without doubt the most natural rugby league player I've seen for Saints. It's a shame he's from Wigan, but you know, he's an adopted Saints. He's an adopted Saints, much like Tommy Makinson.
That's right. Yeah.
And again, well, the one of the strengths with Saints as well is Tommy Makinson, straight from ball carrying. So as soon as that kick goes to him, he will gain us he'll break the first man easily, no matter who's in front of him. And then it's all about stopping him from there. He's a fantastic ball carrier, and he really gets that momentum straight off the bat. So the spine really.
My next question was going to be whereabouts, where are your strengths across the park? Are your halves particularly good? Outside backs, are they going to score plenty of tries?
Well, I've already predicted Saints to put 20 on you. I'm not going to lie to you, seeing the team sheet.
Wait,
but maybe I might be a little bit biased.
But I'd
well,
like to say Dragons by 20, but I can't. But anyway,
it's one of them, because Saints' strength for the past 4 years has been our forward pack. Alex Walmsley has been the best prop in the competition, and I personally think he's one of the top 10 props in the world. Even though he's playing in Super League, because he's that sort of, he's a strong ball carrier. He's got a great offload game. So our forward pack for me, you've got Sione Matautia. Obviously, you Aussies have seen what he was about in his younger days. He's sort of lost his way a bit of the nights, come over here, and he's been a revelation. He's taken the league by storm, and had he not have had a few injuries and suspensions last year, he'd have been in the running for Man of Steel. So I'd say forward pack, James Roby has been an absolute stalwart for the past 20 years at Saints, and he really gets us that momentum going, especially from the ruck. So the forward pack's been phenomenal. Our outside backs as well, like you were saying, they've always been a strong point from Saints' side. We've always had class centres and three quarters, other than an iffy period around the 2009 to 2013 period. We've always had strong outside backs. For me, our strength is our forward pack, without a doubt. It's the best in the Super League competition, and I think with your young pack, you've got quite a young pack out. I think they'll be overwhelmed a little bit by the Saints pack, but I might be wrong.
I hope you're wrong.
I'll hold my hands up if I am, but that's, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Of the Aussie contingent in St. Helens, you got about 7. Who are you looking forward to watching?
See, it's a strange one, because I really want to see Will Hopewadi have a good game for us. Because last year he played, I think, 12 games, and most of them he was off before half time with a hamstring injury. So he didn't really play many minutes. I'd like to see him get off to a really strong start, especially now he's starting in the centres, because we've had Hurrell playing there. But again, I'd also like to see Joey Lussick have a good little game, because last season was sort of his bedding in stage, because he's going to be the successor to James Roby on our side. So I'd quite like for him to kick on this year. So I'm very interested to see how he goes and how he takes to the field, obviously over in Australia, because it's his home turf. He should be very excited about delivering for the Saints as well on such a big occasion. As I know it's only pre-season for you guys, but for us, we don't get to play you guys often, and especially in Australia. I think 1997, that tournament, and then before that, I think it was the first one in 74 or something like that, where we played Eastern Suburbs. So this is the first time in my real lifetime that Saints have been over to Australia. So I'd like to see us do and stand up for ourselves against, because most of the time the Aussie press take the mickey out of our competition, rightfully so, because it is like the Scottish Premiership to like the Premier League and put it in soccer terms.
Yeah.
But like, I think this Saints outfit are a real anomaly. I think that like all the bookies had Saints as outsiders, like 2-1+ for this game, and I was like, I feel like it's a very harsh criticism of the Saints by the Aussie press. I think they have underestimated us a little bit. So hopefully we can right some wrongs of the past and put in a good performance both against St. George and against Penrith the following week. This game's about building momentum for us. We need a good, strong performance. If we do put a number on you, we'll go into next week with our heads held high and maybe not get beat by 40 against an outstanding Penrith side. So, you know, I think I'm excited. I'm really excited for the game. I'll be up early watching it.
All right, John. Thanks very much for your time.
No worries.
I'll pass it back over to Donny, and we'll finish up there. All right, thanks, mate. That's Tony. That's Tony.
See you. Enjoy the rest.
With Behind Enemy Lines.
Thanks, Tony. Johnny, I was actually going to come back at you and take the piss out of you about a few things, but you've sort of done that yourself. So I was going to say, St. Helens, the best team in the English competition. That's kind of like being about the 6th or 7th best in New South Wales Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a bit like the Celtic. The Celtic of the English division.
But I suppose it like that does. Do you feel that puts a bit of pressure on St. Helens coming into a game against a Dragons side that's not expected to do too much in the NRL? We're missing 4 players that are going to be playing in the All-Stars game. There's a couple of spine players that are out for the season, a handful of others that are out injured. Do you think that puts a little bit of pressure on you guys to come out and win by 20? If you don't, have you failed in this contest?
Well, I think we all know that a Dragon side without Ben Hunt is the West Tigers of last year, really. So, we really got to perform. We really got to perform. So, I mean, it does have pressure, but I think the Saints camp with Paul Wellens this is his first major test as well as coach. It's quite a baptism of fire for a new coach coming in and a club legend at that. So I think it adds pressure, but I don't think Saints will feel it much. I think they know what the task is. They know what they have to do. And I think that the professionalism and the around the camp is that strong. And I think they've been there, they've won it all. I think they'll just see this as another game, and next week's the big game. So I don't think it adds much pressure to them.
Oh, fantastic. That's about all I've got. I don't know if anyone else from the panel wants to chuck your hand up and ask a question before we let Johnny go.
I've got one, yeah.
Not exactly a question, but John, a little bit of history for you. So back in 2018, Conrad Hurrell, who is in your squad for this week, I've noticed. He very much came off second best in his tussle with Tariq Sims. Got absolutely monstered every time he touched the ball, got made to look an absolute second grader. Now, I don't know if you've got any contacts in the St. Helens camp, but if you do, can you get word to old Conrad that he's safe? Tariq Sims is down in Melbourne now, so he doesn't have to worry.
I'll give him a text. I'll send it over. It's all right. The hurricane will be waiting. He'll find someone.
He's a very, 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 very poor man's Moses Sully, I think.
Oh, is he?
Jesse, you had a question as well?
Go on.
No, Jesse's frozen, I think. All right, well, we might let you go, Johnny, and we'll get on talking shit about the Dragons for a little bit longer. Thanks for your time, mate.
Well, sure. No worries. It's been a pleasure.
Welcome back anytime, John.
You get you back on
Cheers.
when we play Penrith.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later.
Catch you, mate.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Well, we might now we've spoken enough about the enemy. We've spoken about St Helens at length there, but we'll get into our own team, and I might go to you first of all, Benny, just because I know you're probably not going to be around for the whole show. But, I mean, we'll start at the back. Trey Stewart getting a chance at fullback. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, mate, it's good to see. Actually, you know, I think you've had huge raps on him a lot through last year, and I sort of started to get onto what you were getting at. You know, towards sort of the tail end of last year, I was watching him a lot more, and yeah, I think he's got a lot to offer in that role. And you know, obviously we were spoilt for fullbacks when we had Cody and obviously Tyrell, but now, you know, Trey Stewart is actually looking like a possible option in the first grade squad. So I think this trial is going to do him a world of good. I think it'd be good for the fans to see him, you know, in a bit more sort of light. You know, like we said last year, you know, fans aren't getting along to the lower grades. They're not seeing these sort of guys. So I think having the opportunity to see these guys running around is going to be awesome. And yeah, you know, like we've spoken about, yeah, awesome footy player. And I think he'll offer something exciting in that role. I hope that he really sort of tries to have a good crack and really put his name on it and show the coaching staff and the rest of the boys what he can do.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can produce. He's a hard-working fullback. He's a guy that works in around the middle of the ruck, gets his hands on the ball quite a lot. I think fairly similar to a Dylan Edwards type. He does have a few errors in his game defensively. There's certainly a question mark over him. But you know, another off season, he's had a full off season training with the full-time squad. So yeah,
I think
I'm looking forward to seeing him.
I think that hard-working fullback is going to be quite different to what we've seen from the Dragons a lot of times. I know you other guys on the VOD have sort of said as a slight criticism of guys like Cody Ramsey and Tyrell Sloan that, you know, they don't actively go looking for the football. You know, they're not really taking a huge amount of run meters and getting in and helping the forwards. You know, they don't really go over and above workload-wise what they normally do. You know, they're more those sort of flashy, create something out of nothing sort of fullbacks. So I think seeing what a guy like Trey Stewart can offer will be a good perspective for a lot of fans.
Yeah. Well, I might go to you, Chloe, with a question about the halves. You know, I sort of look at the Dragons squad, and apart from the halves, I think it looks like a really, really decent, solid team that's going to be very competitive. But with you know, Moses Mbai alongside a guy that hasn't played much in the halves in Connor Mullison, how do you think that this halves combination is going to work? And you know, what sort of role do you see them playing in this game?
Well, so first of all, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing Connor play. Like, I haven't seen him in the younger, like in the cup or whatever, but I don't know. Like, I feel like in the Dragons they always have the halves. Like, it's always like who matches, who doesn't match. You know, like it's a what if or who is it? Like, there's always. I remember years ago it was Benji Marshall, and then there was Gareth Widdop. But I'm hoping this weekend that the Dragons can actually show us something with off season. You know, I know it's against St Helens and they're like one of the biggest teams overseas, but I just hope that the halves will go well. Like, maybe Connor will go well, but Mumbai, I don't know. I thought he was going somewhere else. I thought he was going. So
I think that's just hoping rather than
I just don't know. Yeah, our coach, I don't know what he thinks about, but yeah. Hopefully it will be a good pairing. Who knows?
I think that's a lot of Dragons fans have got their fingers crossed that it works out. But probably another slight shock that caught a few people by surprise, Jesse, was a bloke that was named captain, Blake Laurie. What are your thoughts on Blocker getting the captaincy for this game?
Yeah, I'm not the only one. A few people were shocked by it too. Like, yes, he plays a lot of passion, but he doesn't play a lot of big minutes. he's not the sort of person I see as a leader just yet. I mean, maybe a few years down the track, yes, but at the moment, no. I would have gone someone a bit more experienced, someone like a Francis Molo or even a Zach Lomax, someone like up that alley. But yeah, someone a bit more experienced and has known leadership skills. No bang on blocker, but I just don't see him as a captain at this point in time. And yeah, all the best to him though. But yeah, good luck to him.
For me, I think it's one of the more inspired decisions Hook's made.
It'll be a dream come true for him to lead the team on Saturday night. But
I reckon it's a smart decision.
I don't know what Griffin was thinking about there.
Frankie Molo, I don't know where you're going with that, mate.
Yeah.
Jesus
I want
Christ.
to give it to Mumbai before Molo.
I'll give it to the bloody
I'm
Orange.
just using it as an example, like as an example in the.
Who's that little bloke that leads the song? Give it to him.
Give it to him, hey.
Yeah, no, I think it's
What,
one
the
of
little
the
trainer or something?
better. Well, I honestly think it's one of the better decisions Hook has made. I think it's fairly inspired to there is a bit of a dearth in leadership throughout the club, and given a Dragons junior that bleeds for the club, a guy that's going to be a lead by example type captain. Again, it's a trial match, so
That's right.
like, have a look through the rest of the teams and look who the captains are. Some teams haven't
There's
even
no real
named the captain.
standouts, no.
Like Stefano Yuto Wikamanu was the captain for the Tigers today. He's what, 18 or something. But I don't know whether a great
He hasn't
deal
played
of,
probably 50 games, yeah.
yeah, so I think it's a great honour for him, but I don't think it means too much. I think it's an opportunity, and you look at the experience that the Dragons have lost in the off-season. Andrew McCulloch's gone, Tarek Sims has gone, maybe not necessarily leaders, guys like Josh Maguire and George Burgess gone as well. That's a lot of experience that has left the club. Who actually steps in and is the captain if Ben Hunt isn't there? I'll look through our squad now, and I don't know, but is there anyone you see in our squad that's the clear vice captain, Hasman?
No, I honestly think I'll probably cop a bit of shit for this, but I reckon Brake Laurie would probably be the best of the bunch.
I don't know where your video's gone, mate, but we've just got the Dragons logo, which is beautiful. It's fantastic, but
I think Blocker's a good choice, like he's well respected, not just by the guys in the team, by opposition, by officials. He keeps his nose clean, like he's not getting suspended.
I think what Donny's asking, if Blake Laurie's off the field, who's captain?
Oh, if Blocker's off, yeah, right. Yeah, that's a Frankie Molo for sure.
Well, the suggestion for vice captain from Ian Johnson is Jack DeBellin.
Oh yeah, I'll put my hand up for Jack DeBellin, no problem. Yeah.
You want to snog him?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not this Saturday. Jack DeBellin's not playing, but
No.
next week,
Well, I'm out. I'm not going. That's it.
I think Ian's more talking about vice captain during the season. If Ben Hunt is missing for a game during the year,
I'd say DeBellin, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know if with what happened in the past, if that would be something that would go against him. Because I remember we had this argument, I think it was when Sims got the captaincy for the Charity Shield, or not the Charity Shield, I think it might have been the Anzac Day game or something, and we had this same chat about why DeBella wouldn't have got the captaincy over, anyone else. But yeah, I don't know how much they take those sort of past decisions into consideration, but yeah, tough one.
It is.
Yeah,
lacking leaders.
Mohammed Dib in the chat, Big T. He's asked, going back a question, I suppose, talking about the halves. Zach Herring on the bench. Do you have any idea as to why he wouldn't start at 6, given he is a 5'8"? Connor isn't. He's a dummy half.
I think it's just we're going to try everybody in every position, I'd say. Like, they've got that many players on the bench. And Herring will swap and change with the halves we're running with Membai and Mulhausen. They'll be swapped all day, every day. 4 or 5 times they'll swap. There won't be. I don't think there'll be much cohesion
Yeah.
Shown.
I think a point to note on Zach Herring is that he has had an injury. So that like he's had that quad strain, which might be a reason why he's not starting. That's the only thing I can think of. I think if he was 100% fit, then he seems the logical choice to actually play in the halves, given he is a half. But logic doesn't always apply when it comes to Hook. I think we all know that. Benny, Frankie Molo, you might not like him as a captain, but he has been cleared of a suspension and will now be available to play in our first game of the season. What is going on? Is this the Twilight Zone? The Dragons having a win with the NRL?
I know we're getting the rub of the green. What's going on? I think they might be feeling sorry for us with all of our preseason dramas and bullshit that's going on. They're like, oh, maybe we might have to let him catch a bit of a break for once. But yeah, obviously having any guy with his experience and playing the sort of footy he does, fit and available, and is definitely going to help us because it's slim pickings a little bit for us at the moment. So yeah, no, be good to see, but. Yeah, I don't know, mate. When it comes to decisions like that, you don't know. Somebody they're getting an envelope full of cash under a table somewhere. I think.
I think like you look at all the other players who probably weren't going to play in the World Cup and they got their suspensions cleared. It was maybe a bit of common sense decision, but just because a South player gets that advantage, you don't expect a Dragons player to. It's still unusual.
That's it, mate. It's an odd one, but hey, who knows? They change the rules every bloody week in the NRL at the moment. So yeah, I just do it on the fly and do whatever they please and stuff the fans and anyone else.
First positive thing I think that's happened to the Dragons in a little while.
Yeah, mate. It's been a rough preseason, that's for sure.
All right, Hasman. There's a lot of players on our bench. I want you to just give me one player from the bench that you're looking forward to seeing play and why.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Alex Lobb getting a go. I've seen his work in the lower grades. He's pretty decent. I reckon he's going to be an absolute star for us in the future. So yeah, it'd be good to see how he stands up against the big boys.
All right, might go the same question. Oh, Jesse's just saying he's got to leave, but I was going to ask you, Jesse, but I might go to Chloe then. Chloe,
yes.
Looking at our bench, what's one player that's on our bench, our extended bench, that you're looking forward to seeing play this weekend?
Where's that? I'm trying to get the head-to-head. Wait, give me a second. I was looking at it the other day. Wait, we're at interchange. I don't know. I don't know. Number 17, Joshua. I don't know. He looks like he's the lock. There we go. See, I hope
I'll say here, Chloe. I want to see Hello Fitty, the kid from Melbourne. I want to see him have a run and see what he can bring. It's supposed to be a really good running hooker, and let's see what he brings, eh?
Well, you can tell it's pre-season. Even here at the vodcast, we're a little rusty. I'm not immune, of course. I forgot to record when we first started the show, and we weren't live for the first 10 minutes or so either. So we're getting into it, and Chloe's not immune. So
I have been looking. I've just been looking at all the different changes and who's going to be in what team and who's on who. I'm actually looking really forward to seeing the young guys, to tell you the truth. Yeah. All the players that, like number one, I've heard good things about Stewart. So I've heard good things. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Maybe him and Sloan could take turns being number one while Cody is recovering. And shout out to Cody Ramsey. I hope you're okay. Thinking of you, recover quickly. There you go.
Yeah, you had absolutely no idea what you were saying before, Chloe, but number 17, Josh Corrich, is certainly one that I can't wait to see him out on the field. I can't wait for Dragons fans to see what he's got to offer. He's probably one bloke I can see making his NRL debut at some stage this year, but he wouldn't have been my pick. My pick is actually Toby Couchman. I'm really excited by Toby Couchman. And the Couchman brothers, I'm not sure exactly why Ryan's not playing, but
Well, you would have gone Alex Lobb, mate. You had huge raps on him last year.
yeah, I think Alex Lobb's he's a fine player, but somebody's already said him. So
Oh, really?
but no, Couchman for me plays he's an edge forward, plays in a position that we desperately need talent. He's a young bloke. It's strange. Like everyone says, he's probably another year away. He's probably needs another year of development. He's the same age now that Jeremiah Nanai was, and he came in, got a chance at the Cowboys and showed that he was up to it. So if he's good enough, then as far as I'm concerned, he's old enough and should be chucked in and given a chance.
Yeah.
So I'd be quite happy to see him again be another player that gets a debut at some stage towards the back end of the season.
But everybody, Donny, I want to see everybody back. I want to see the Dragons side running around again. That's up against a full strength St. Helens side. So let's see how these kids go against the 4-time premiers from the UK.
Yeah, Bud Sullivan's in the comments. He said the Hemi's all good. He's going to be playing in the Charity Shield. So
You're beauty.
Yeah,
good
go,
to hear,
Bud.
Bud.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, bro.
Deadly, bro.
We want you back. We want you back.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about players you're sort of looking forward to seeing play, and I know it's certainly not ideal what's going on with Junior and the way that he's got an opportunity, but rugby league is all about opportunities. He's definitely got one to play a starting role for the Dragons now, and he's a player that a number of us on the panel have had huge raps on for quite a few years. And hopefully he can take that with both hands and put his injuries behind him and and staffers and help us beat
That's the
South
same.
and
The same
Charity
as
Shield 2
Sloan.
years in a row.
Same as Sloan. He's got the opportunity from out of nowhere. Unfortunately, Ramsey got the little disease thing, and he's got to take it by the horns. I think.
And
He'll
that's
he'll
what Grandma said to stop being a sook, harden up.
Stop being a sook and harden up.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what Grandma said. So
Well, one thing's for sure. I reckon we've got our dose of hamstring injuries out of the way. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know what the coaching staff are doing to the boys pre-season, but fuck, it's a hammy every second week at the moment.
It does
I
seem
think
to
they
be a
need to
lot of
stretch it out.
does seem to be a lot of running.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of hammies going. So a lot of high intensity stuff, I'd be saying. But yeah, hopefully we're getting all the injuries out of the way now, and we can come home strong at the end of the season.
It's it's different. I think like you look back at our sort of era that we sort of grew up watching, and players weren't quite as finely tuned as they are now. Nowadays they're like finely tuned Ferraris and sports cars, and they go over a speed bump and they need to be back in the shop and get retuned. So
And Graham Wynn was an old Cortina. Back in the old days, stock standard.
Not nice and reliable.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, reliable. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, Jesse's having all sorts of problems.
He is.
I don't know what's going on. He said he can't see anything.
Technology.
We might leave him out and talk a little bit about the Dragons off season. It's been a horrible off season, but honestly, like you talk about how bad our off season has been, but just look at the West Tigers. The West Tigers had a fantastic off season. They're up and about. They've got new coaching staff that have breathed energy in. They brought all these new players in, and the first game, they're still the fucking West Tigers. So, having a good off season doesn't necessarily mean things are going to turn around straight away. But
That's true.
Big T, getting into to our off season, we'll go all the way back to presentation night.
Oh, 3 players turned up.
3 players. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
I played footy for a long, long time, and we had one season. We had the shittiest season that we ever had, and only 3 players turned up to Prezzo. It was just an absolute shocker of a season. I don't know. It was 8 weeks after the end of the season they have their presentation or something, and people go off on holidays, and people just forget things are coming up. They might have got to the night and they've gone, "Oh, I forgot to go to the presentation, right?
Mate, you're a mug amateur. You're not a professional rugby league player.
I forgot. Oh no. No, I don't know what was going on there. Like, it's not a good look.
No.
It's not a good look when 3 players turn up to your presentation. One's your captain and then a reserve grader. And I think Lomax the other turn up, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Lomax and
Lomax,
Molo.
Michael
Lomax was in
Molo,
Hawaii.
and Ben Hunt.
Hunt, Lomax, and Molo turned up.
Yeah.
Only because Hunt topped the Molo Lomax topped the top point scorer.
Yeah.
That's why he was there.
Hey, he's getting an award.
Ben Hunt was getting the Dally M award for the Dragons anyway.
Yeah, no.
And Molo was trying to pick up some scraps. I don't know. He's not here. I haven't.
Well, it's
Molo's just
free grog and food, mate. Why wouldn't you be there? That's the
That's right.
That's what Craig Young reckons. That's not what all you need.
I know. But do you think, like, I was thinking about those 3 players going, do you think because of the shit year we've had, do you think there's something with the coach? Do you think players are just not happy, or that the respect there? Like, like, I was looking back.
You listen to Hook. Hook was interviewed on SEN a couple of weeks ago, and he said they had a Christmas party, and every single player's wife, everybody showed up. Like every indication was being given that there's unity within the club. There were a number of reasons why players didn't show up to presentation night. Some of them were already over in England for the rugby league World Cup.
Yes.
There was a few
that's
on
right,
holidays. And there was a couple that had a better offer and decided to go to the casino across the road from where the presentation night was. So, they all had excuses.
Yeah, that's right. But like,
Maybe
they
the Dragons
should,
put on a crap night anyway. They didn't want to go anyway.
exactly.
Well, if you've been to St George League Club, you'd believe they would put on a pretty crap night.
I think there's more to the story. Like
That used
we're
to be
only
the
seeing
press
it from
releases.
from the outside, but yeah, there'd be a reason that not everyone turned up, but we'll never find out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But if you're still there, let us know. We want inside scoop, okay? But
Oh,
yeah.
as long as they put all that bullshit
Where were
behind
you,
them
mate?
and
Where were you?
become a cohesive unit moving forward. Put last year behind us and focus on.
That's right. Yeah, you
on
got to
moving ahead.
start
And by
fresh.
all reports, that's what's happening. Apparently the playing unit's real tight, and the new coaches are invigorating everyone. And I think the team psyche is going to be a lot better this year than last year.
What do you guys think's best? Is it best to have your whole family and your kids around the team, around the football field with you, or would you like to go away and have that space for yourself and not worry about your family?
I think there's a bit of both, mate.
Yeah, I think a bit of both.
There's some times where we're getting away and doing a bit of old-fashioned male bonding can bring the team together. But
That's exactly right. Yeah.
there's other times where you've got to acknowledge the sacrifices that the wives and the families make, and you have to bring them in and make them feel part of the culture as well. So you've got to find that balance.
Yeah.
Well, when my dad used to play footy, as young, I used to be the ball girl, so I used to go up and down the side, giving the ball, and they would go, "Give us the ball!" So I chucked it at them, and it was fun to be around it and go to Prezzo, and they all go, "Hi, Chloe, how are you?" And I just knew them all, so it was fun.
I think we can say anything at the moment. Everyone's in the comments just wants to talk to Bud. So,
Hey, Bud, how's Curry Knockout? I went and saw you. You played very well in Curry Knockout. You and Sloane.
They did. I was down there watching those as well. Watched a couple of days down there.
It was really good. It was
bloody
fantastic.
wet.
Yeah, it was
wet.
muddy and wet, but it was
muddy.
good. It was, I wanted to see Trail Mitt. I was like,
Some of the football, some of the games that I watched, some of the boys out there in the Curry Knockout. Magnificent.
yeah.
It's got me stuffed why there weren't more clubs down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Scouts.
Yeah.
It befuddles me.
Do you see any Dragon Scouts while you're down there, Tony?
Pardon?
Tony was the Dragon Scout.
while you're down there?
I was the Dragon Scout, and I put my name in. I put 2 names into them, and they hopefully they'll look at them.
And they blocked your email address.
They have, yeah.
Not
Not
yet.
you again. Ah!
Well, I know Benny sort of said move on from the negative, but we're going to stay on the negative a little bit because we want to go through all the things that happened during the off season. And Hasman, Matty Cooper publicly refusing to turn up to the 2010 Premiership reunion. He's got some big scoop that's going to drop, I don't know, some stage during the season. What did you make of first of all, Cooper's saying you didn't want to make a big deal of it and then making a big deal of it? And what do you think's going on there?
I reckon he's got a book coming out. He's just trying to drum up publicity for it. So I reckon it's that simple.
Yeah. Do you have any inkling as to? I mean, obviously Peter Doust was one of the people he didn't want to turn up and see. He also mentioned a player that didn't play in the actual grand final, and there was a few that were at that reunion, were part of the squad, but didn't play in the grand final. Any speculation, do you think, as to who the player is that he doesn't particularly like?
No, knowing Cooper, it could be bloody anyone, but no, I think Doust would definitely be one of the reasons why I didn't show up. Because I mean, let's face it, no one likes him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I think it's never good to see a past player and a past legend like Matty Cooper unhappy and bad mouthing the club and sort of not wanting to be a part of celebrations of an event that was so special to so many Dragons fans. So hopefully the club can do something to bring him back into the fold and make him feel comfortable and welcome at the club, because I'm sure there's a lot of Dragons fans that would love to see him around the joint a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard any rumours about what it's about?
Well, I thought it was Mark Gasnier, but then it couldn't because he played. Because I remember when he came back and there was two. It was Neville Koskinen and Jeremy Smith. I used to love them in our team. They were like the Bash brothers. But then Mark Gasnier came back and pushed those two out. So I used to dislike Mark Gasnier when he came back for that simple reason. But then I thought, no, it's not him then. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Trying to figure it out.
Well, we'll all have to just buy Matt Cooper's book when it comes out, as Hasman suggests.
Yeah. I heard rumours, but I'm not going to say anything.
It has been right.
Ruth, come on, Benjamin, come on. Now you got me. Look.
My inside information might be a bit too inside.
Oh.
We will see if it ends up being similar to what I think. I'll drop it all.
Yeah,
my
no, they did. After it all drops, so yeah, I knew.
That's it,
Jesse, you're back, and one of the other things, probably a little less controversial, that happened during the off season, although it depends on who you ask. Billy Burns signing a 1-year extension. You must be excited about that, Jesse.
Yeah, a bit 50-50 about that. He hasn't really. Sorry, he hasn't really. He's brought here from the Penrith Panthers. He hasn't really made his mark. I don't think he's made his mark since really coming to the club. I wasn't surprised that he signed on again. I mean, I didn't hear that any other club was interested in him, but I see it as purely maybe for that purposes. I mean, there's still a few spots up for grabs in that edge back row with there's still suggestions that Jack Bird could even play there. I don't know what'll happen there. So Jack Bird, Tyrell Fuimano, and also Billy Burns. But I'd say it's a competition between those three. But yeah,
well, Ben Murdoch-Masilla's thrown his hand into that. He's had into that ring as well. You know, named in the back row.
He's been named there on Saturday. Yeah.
So he's probably a shock one for me. But Hook, in that SEN interview a couple of weeks ago, when talking about Ben Murdoch-Masila, said he plays on an edge. I reckon 4 times. Made a point of saying that he plays on an edge and can play in the middle. So I don't know. I think that he might be another one that's a big chance of getting that vacant edge position. But Billy Burns certainly. I actually have a bit of time for Billy. I think he's been harshly treated by Dragons fans. I think he runs good lines. I think he's young. He's 22, 23. He's got good late footwork. He can stand in tackles and throw an offload. I think he's got a lot of upside. Defensively, again,
It's just no
another
Jackson
three.
Ford.
Another 2 or
It's
3
just
years for
defense
Billy
that lets
Burns,
him
I think.
down.
one at a
Another
time,
2 or-
boys.
Another 2 or 3 years for Billy Burns, I think. Was he 26 now? Yeah, 27, 28 is when the back rowers normally the old back rowers when I used to play. That's when he started playing well.
He must
Yeah, I
he
think
missed a
Billy
lot
Burns
of
was
footy
young,
last year.
early
but-
20s, I think.
No, not a lot, no. But when he did play, he ran good lines.
Yeah. He missed a lot of footy with that leg.
And will he be off Sullivan or will he be off Hunt?
Well, and again, that's a big question that I've got in terms of how Hunt and Sullivan will work in the halves
What
together,
side's
because
in the playoff?
Sullivan plays on that left in reserve grade, built up a really good combination on the left
He did,
with
yeah.
Billy Burns.
Yeah.
But Ben Hunt also plays on the left in the NRL side. So does Sullivan switch sides and go to the right and with next to Sewer? Or does he keep that combination with Burns on the left and Hunt swap sides?
I'd like to see Hunt, Lomax, Ravalova. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Three magic players.
Well, Hunt and Sewer.
Hunt has to take the left, I think.
And Sewer, that's right. Sewer's on that side as well.
Yeah, I think Hunt Sewer, that could be a deadly combination. I would like to see Hunt switch over to that right hand side and have Bud play where he's most comfortable on the left.
Yeah, I agree.
I asked the question earlier in the week: Will Hunt go to 5'8" and will Sullivan go to 7 and make his transition a bit more easier?
It doesn't really matter these days. Like you play
I know
half the side,
it doesn't really matter, but would Ben Hunt do something like that?
No, he's already said previously he prefers to play 7. I
That's
think
right. Yeah,
well, 7.
7 and 6. There's not much difference these days.
Doesn't make any difference. It's makes no difference whether you're 7 or 6. It's you can play first receiver or second receiver whether you're 7 or 6.
Right.
As we said, you basically play. Well, one plays left, one plays right. So
right.
Hunt's more of the game manager type player.
Yeah, I think Sullivan's game management is incredibly underrated. I think it's one of the best parts of Bud's game is that like people see him as that running half. For me, he's a guy that gets the ball 60, 70 times a game and passes it 90% of the time, but picks his times to run. When he sees an opportunity, he's able to exploit it. And I think sometimes when he gets in the NRL playing in the halves, the few times we have seen him, it's all run. It's run every time, rather than picking his times, picking his moments like he has done coming up through the grades.
Yeah, he's got more of a runner and a kicker as well compared to Junior who played there last year. So be interested to see how he goes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who are we up to? Benny. Yeah, you're going to love this one, mate. Craig Young providing a character reference to Brett Finch on club letterhead.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that was. Didn't we talk about this already?
We're going through bad start.
Well, we're going through the whole off season.
Oh, mate, it's just firstly disgusting. Secondly, pathetic. Thirdly, I think just why would you do that? You know what I mean?
Disturbing.
Just why? You know, especially to do it on a club letterhead from an official capacity, whether it was from an official capacity or not. You don't do that, mate. You know what I mean? Like if he wants to give a personal reference for a grub like that, then whatever. But
how could
don't
you
involve
get
the
a
club.
personal reference?
Well, that's it. You know,
He's been a good bloke in his previous, while I've known him. He's
Yeah,
been
that's
a
what he
really good
said.
bloke.
Yeah,
By that time, he's looking at kiddie porn.
people make mistakes. Oh, fuck bullshit.
It's bullshit.
That's not a mistake. That's a conscious effort, a conscious decision to be a
Exactly right.
But but I think like he my biggest disappointment with that whole thing was how the club handled it. I think that they should have just hardline, foot down, fuck him off straight away, but they didn't. They danced around it and ummed and ahed, and then he was standing down, and then he wasn't standing down, and then he got removed, and then there was a change of the board and all this bullshit. I think they should have just straight out said, "No, that's it. You're sacked. we don't want this sort of stuff involved with our club. I think that was a sentiment of 99% of the fans and the playing group and everybody involved in the club would have said that exact same thing. Fuck him off. That's just totally disrespectful and unprofessional. But they danced around it. And like I personally, I cancelled all of my memberships. I wrote to the membership girl that I've been dealing with the last couple of years, and I said I'm cancelling my memberships until this is sorted out. I said I will not have myself, my kids, my business involved in a club that supports this. I said until he's removed, I've said I won't be renewing my memberships, and I know a lot of people did the same thing. So it was obviously a very serious matter, and I don't think the club were really that serious about their response. We got what we wanted at the end of the day, but it should have happened a lot quicker than it did.
Hasman, Craig Young, a legend of this club, a bloke that's been around the St George Dragons for as long as I've been alive. Like he is the George Pickens type figure at the Dragons. He is larger than life. Has this forever damaged his legacy within our club?
I think it will have for the majority of both Dragon supporters and rugby league supporters in general. I mean, if he wants to give someone a reference, I mean that's strike number one. But I mean, it's got nothing to do with the club. Why the fuck would you use the club's letterhead for something that's got absolutely nothing to do with it? I mean, that's strikes 2 and 3. So yeah, I reckon he's dug his own grave on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. It's difficult to see him being welcomed back into the fold at Dragons events and all that sort of stuff. Certainly in the near future, and we all know Dragons fans have long memories. So yeah, it's sad whenever a club legend gets put on the outer because of something like that. But I don't know whether I could ever support a guy that has supported a guy like Brett Finch. Anyway, we move on. Something a little bit more positive, but still somewhat controversial, Chloe, was the extension of Ben Hunt for another couple of years. What are your thoughts on Ben Hunt signing on for another couple of seasons at the Dragons? What's it take him until he's 107, I think, by the time he retires now?
So this I might get a bit of flack, or I'm sorry, but I find that, like before, you guys were talking about the positions for Ben Hunt. Now, I know he's a marquee player. He's one of the it players. He goes World Cup. He's in Origin, whatever. I find that he can pick and choose. So, like, he can go to 7 to 9. Like, he doesn't play 7 for Origin. He plays 9 for Origin. But extension, like, we could have got a young up-and-comer or someone to like be, someone beside him. I think I don't know, like I just find, and I know I'm going to get flack, but this is my, sorry everybody, but I just find sometimes he can have off days, and then up until Origin, it's 3 rounds before Origin, he's like, zip, there, I'm going to be here, there, everywhere, let's go team. And I'm like, what are you doing? Where's this the last, 5 rounds? Like, it's just because Origin's come around, mate. Put your head in. So, really, I just find it's a bit, I don't know. I'm not really happy that he signed. But who else do we have? Like,
yeah,
if that makes sense, everybody.
Yeah, I think Ben Hunt extending probably does lead us into the next one as a nice little segue. In particular, Jaden Sullivan. Requesting a release on multiple occasions after the extension of Ben Hunt, like that signing. Jesse, Tyrell Sloan also requesting release on multiple occasions. What did you make of the 2 young blokes saying that they wanted out? I know Tyrell Sloan's grandmother slapped him across the face and told him to stop sooking, but what was it that turned Sullivan around, do you think? Jesse?
Are you there? Oh.
He's a bit vacant.
probably because he's local. He's,
Everyone's doing the robot. Jesse's
yeah.
having all sorts of problems. I can't.
It's
he's
been
breaking
really
up.
bad
Bad.
weather
Sorry,
down
guys.
Wollongong way. So
Can you hear me?
Oh,
today,
yeah, well, hang on. You're back, I think.
You got me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, got you.
So can you repeat that? I didn't get that last bit.
I was just about Sloan and Sullivan asking for releases, mate. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought that was a cause for concern. I mean, two of the brightest young talents in the club looking to go elsewhere. It's not a good look for the club. I mean, they're two of the brightest prospects in the not only in the club in the game. And Sloan was predicted for big things last year, and obviously he didn't deliver. But we saw what happened last year, and then Sullivan had a link to join possibly another club to be the number seven there. So yes, it's obvious that they want to play in the NRL, and they didn't see a future at the club that they've had. By news and media reports, that they've had a good heart-to-heart with Coach Griffin, and yeah, and he's as you pointed out earlier, his name, Sloan's name pointed out that he should suck it up and don't be such a sook, and he's learned from his lessons, and he looks like he's for a big year, and he's over there in New Zealand in the All Stars camp playing alongside some of the best players in the game. So that'll only instill his confidence. Hopefully, hopefully we see him back here in the Charity Shield next week, and he can finally become the player we know he can be, because he can at his best. One day he can be one of the best fullbacks in the game.
Yeah,
And he looks like he's put in
And
a
Sullivan,
bit of muscle in all the right places too. From what I've seen recently, he's really bulked up.
yeah, he's looking in fantastic shape for sure.
yeah, he's been working hard at training there. So he's been training the house down. And the Bud Sullivan, I mean,
That's the kiss of death, Jesse. You've just given him the kiss of death.
No pressure,
He
no
didn't
pressure.
expect to get this chance. Yeah, but yeah. So I wish the best of luck to him. Hopefully he goes well. He gets his chance to partner men on it. Obviously, it's going to be better for him in the long run, playing alongside an experienced playmaker like Hunt, and it'll only be better for his development and to eventually be the number 7 for us long term. I think it's only going to be beneficial for him and the club to him get this early opportunity to partner Hunt in the halves, and hopefully he stays injury free, can play all year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Benny's he's running out of juice. He's got to go, and I've got about 1,000 more things. I'm going to have to skip a few things on this agenda because we've already been going for an hour and a lot more to get through. But so I'm definitely going to skip a few. But one I'm definitely not going to skip is for me the saddest thing that has happened in the Dragons off season was Cody Ramsey diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which not only puts he's out for the season, but puts his whole career in jeopardy. Give us your thoughts on that, Benny, before you take off.
Yeah, mate, that's a real tough one for Cody, and I'm sure the sentiment of all the guys here is to wish him all the absolute best in his recovery and his health moving forward. And we'd all love to see him get back on the field and playing footy. For the Red V would be awesome, but I think just playing footy at all would be a great goal for him to have at the moment. I know it's a pretty debilitating disease, or it can be a pretty debilitating disease, especially for a professional sports person. But in saying that too, like Cody's going to have the absolute best health experts and medical care available to him. So if anybody can do it, and I know he's a real tough kid, and he lives life 100 mile an hour. So if anyone can do it, get back on the footy field playing first grade footy with something like that, it's definitely him. So mate, we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you in the Red V and strapping on a set of footy boots again soon, mate. But it was a real tough one for a lot of the fans to take. I think we obviously got the news, and then it was sort of, what's going on, and is he going to make it back? And then obviously a few weeks back we got the sort of he's definitely not going to be here for 2023 news, and possibly at all. So that's a real tough blow for Dragons fans, and obviously for Cody and the players. So Yeah, a real tough one. You know, you really hate to see any player have to go through a possible career-ending injury or health issue like that. And yeah, it really sort of hit us for six as far as, you know, like Cody was, once he sort of got the opportunity to make that fullback spot his own, he really took it with two hands, you know, last season, and he was playing some bloody awesome footy. And so yeah, real shame to have that shake up again. But yeah, obviously, you know, Tyrell Sloan gets the opportunity now to make that spot his own, and hopefully he can again take it with both hands and really make something of it. But yeah, real sad news for Cody. I think
You're on mute.
mate.
Mute.
Donny's on mute, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll take that time to actually to sign off. So yeah, you guys probably missed earlier in the VOD because Donny forgot to press record, but I had surgery last week on my nose and my sinus. Had a big clear out in there, and they re-broke my nose and moved a few things around. So I'm actually struggling a bit at the moment. So I'm going to go and take some antibiotics and some drugs and get myself ready for a good night's sleep. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, all you fans out there, and yeah, thanks for listening to me babble on for a bit. And yeah, good catching up with all you guys on the VOD, and yeah, we'll chat soon. See you guys.
Bye.
Catch up.
See ya.
Yeah. See you, Benny. Yeah, so I'm off mute now. So yeah, obviously a few positive ones that I did have in there, but I might skip a couple of them and go to another big one, Big T, that was certainly not a positive one, and probably the next biggest thing that happened during your off season with Junior Amone, charged with a crime that has seen him stood down. I don't even know where you start with this one, mate, but take it away.
Shaking my head. That's all I can do with this one. Then you listen to the story of what it was over a tradie parking on the nature strip, flattening a few plants, and the Amone family just went apeshit. Whether he hit this bloke with a hammer or chased this bloke with a hammer or threatened this bloke with a hammer, we won't know until the court case actually comes out. But yeah, what a silly boy. He had his life ahead of him. Now it's a 11-year plus crime that he's been trialed for.
Yeah, mate, it's again, I don't. There's not too much we can say. I think he's back in court again on the 1st of March. I don't know. It's one of those things that you know it could have an impact on the club, having a bloke in our top 30 that's unable to play for another couple of years, depending on how long this drags out. So it's a huge impact on the club. But I think you look at a bloke that at this age with that much talent, and it seems such a shame for him to have thrown it away over this.
I also believe that if a player's found guilty or is being charged with that crime, they should go back to basic wage. Should go back to base wage. That's all you're getting, mate. You can't play, you can't train. You're back on basic wage. And until you get back in the side, and if you're found not guilty, you get all your money. You get all your money. If you're found not guilty, you get all your money. But there's got to be something to stop these kids from doing silly things like they do. Look at Latrell Mitchell and Jack White the other day. Another one. They got arrested for a fray, for having a fight with each other. Silly boys, man. They got their life ahead. The world's at their feet.
But it was a wrestle. Like to that, I understand what you're saying, but to that, they're cousins, and the guy was interviewed from the actual pub, and it wasn't actually him. It was the police officers that were having a go. It wasn't actually. He was
but the story came out from the media. The media hyped it up. Mitchell and Jack White and punch on outside a nightclub.
It was actually just a wrestle. They had a Yellowstone party, and this is what shits me about this. It's the same with the mode. Like, I understand. I don't know what I've heard the same thing as you, Tony, with the whole thing with like it was a nature strip. They parked there. They're blocking someone. He was on the roof, but you know, it's talk to the guy. Like I think, yeah, like I said, he's a young, promising person bringing up, and now look at him. I didn't realize how long he's been in.
All I can do is shake my head. Shake my
Yeah,
hand.
it's like, oh, but yeah, you know, like, but the media does hype it up, and like, yeah, like, yeah, I like, oh, like, yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm dumbfounded, mate, dumbfounded.
Well, I might actually stay with you, Chloe, for the next incident that happened during the off season, because I know you're pretty passionate about the Illawarra side of the joint venture.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the survey about a potential name change for the Dragons?
Oh, I was breakable. I was like, what? The changing? You can't have just like the Dragons, or we can the Dragons, but not like everyone has a story. Like you guys have St. George, I have, and Jesse and I had Illawarra Steelers, and you can't just pick them apart. You can't have just St. George, or you just can't have Illawarra. Everyone is a family now, so that was just ridiculous. I was like, if they change it, I'm not going to games and I'm not renewing my membership. I was like, filthy.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill. I think some little smart-ass marketing graduate has put in a question and it's gone out to all fans. I don't think it was. I don't think the club has any thoughts whatsoever about changing the name. I don't understand why the question was put in. We've just committed to building a multi-million-dollar high-performance centre in Wollongong. Our future as a club is tied to Wollongong and Illawarra. Like they are not leaving our club. They are never going to not be a part of this club. And yeah, I don't know what the question was about and what it was trying to achieve, but I don't think it went high up the chain. I think it was someone in the marketing department asking something that, and it's been read into far too much. I think it was a real nothing story for me, but a little bit more positive, I suppose. And I know something you desperately want to talk about, Jesse, is the retirement of Semi Bremner. No, he's frozen again. He's had a shocker tonight.
Oh, it is.
The robot.
He's back again.
Can you hear us?
Jesse.
He's in a trance.
I can hear you guys. I can
Hey,
hear you.
there he is.
Yep, got you now.
Yeah. What's up?
Semi Bremner, mate.
The retirement.
Yeah, that's great of the game. She was a big reason the Dragons got an NRLW team. I mean, she started the Illawarra competition way back in early 2011, I think it was. And yeah, she's been a big stalwart of the game. She was pushing for the NRLW. They finally got it approved in 2018, and Dragons were one of the first four teams to be given a license to participate in the NRLW, and she was appointed captain of our inaugural side. And then year after, she unfortunately had an injury and forced to sit out the season, and then come back in that 2020 side when we won the night over in Perth, which was the first time we ever won a title in the NRLW. To do what she's done in the game, she's played at the highest level, played for Australia, played for New South Wales, captained both sides, played in two winning World Cup sides, and to go out on the winning note, winning a World Cup is what a way to go out. I mean, and she did it alongside one of her closest friends in Kezi Apps as well. So to see her, I hope she does stay involved in the game, because I think she will stay involved in some capacity. I mean, I hope the Dragons use her, being a local and living in the area. They do appoint her on coaching staff or be a mentor for some of the younger girls in the team. And she's definitely one of the pioneers of the game. She'll be a massive loss to the playing side of football, but hopefully she does stay on in some capacity, because she is probably the GOAT of women's rugby league, arguably the GOAT.
Well, bring her back to the Dragons if she's going to get involved post rugby league, and tell her to leave those stinking Roosters alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she was actually going to stay with the Dragons. Unfortunately, with the lifeline she got from the Roosters, took the lifeline to play fullback for them. She was going to be stuck behind Emma Tonegata in last campaign. And I think it got the offer from the Roosters to go there, so in some capacity.
While we do still have you, Jesse, well, I might get you for one last question and stick with you, because I know you're heavily across what's going on with the CBA negotiations, what that means for not just the NRLW, but also the NRL.
Yeah, it's ongoing. The latest update today was from the NRL, from the RLPA, which I've come across that if nothing's done, I think it was from 4 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time, that players will delay the times of the kickoffs in the trial games. They'll cover the NRL logo, and there was one other thing I didn't get across, but
no media interviews
they've
or
got to get
something.
it sorted. I think something like that. Yeah, no pre or post media games or during the game as well. So yeah, I don't know what they're trying to get out of the NRL. I do understand the NRLW ones because they've got jobs outside of this. They've got full-time jobs to plan around. They're trying to sort out if they fall pregnant, if they are covered and they don't get the insurance like the blokes do, but, as well as I was going to say, they don't get they're not allowed to be denied multi-year contracts, which I can't put my finger on why they can't go down that road, but yeah, at least have some sort of insurance for them to play, and if they want to stay at a club for a long term, they should be given the opportunity to do that, because with the 4 new teams coming into the comp, if it goes ahead with what's going on, people will be knocking on the door trying to sign players. And you look, the 4 new teams coming in, there's been links to that. One of our players, Shaylee Bent, could join the Raiders, but they can't. No, Jamie Sharp can't even plan, or any coach can't even plan, or even go out to a player and say, "Come to the Dragons, we'll offer you this, and this." But they can't even do that. They can't even plan their roster or build a team or anything like that at the moment until they get this sorted. And I know some of the girls are quite annoyed with this, and a lot of them are refusing to do any media commitments until this is sorted. I mean, yes, some of them are in the All Stars, but this weekend, and it's a thing that needs to be addressed quickly, because the NRLW is probably the leading women's sport at the moment in Australia, arguably, and young girls aspire to be up. It's going to be a huge loss for the NRL as well. And yeah, they need to get this sorted ASAP. There's no date sorted for the competition yet, and they're not even going to budge on having 2 Origin games, which I can't even game. The way they've got it is they're going to have 2 games, and then if it's 1 game each, the Shield's going to go to last year's winner. I mean, how hard is it just to have another extra game? But
money.
Yeah, needs to
money
be
than anything else.
Yeah. But hopefully they get that sorted. I mean, yeah.
The problem is the girls' game doesn't get the sponsorship the boys' game does. That's the problem with
no, it doesn't.
With the girls' game. Until they can start getting sponsorships the way the boys do.
Why can't they get the sponsor? Like, look at that.
I don't know.
Compare, like, obviously they don't have to get the sponsorship that the NRL.
The NRL made lots of money last year.
They don't need to get the sponsorship. They don't need to compete with the NRL. But like, you compare other sports. You compare NRLW to the A-League. Compare the crowds. Compare the interest. You compare the TV ratings to A-League, which is a competition that is a national competition played all over Australia. Compare that to NRLW, and it stacks up. Like, that's a competition that has a lot of sponsorship. It has a lot of people pouring money into it, and it has the same number of eyeballs on it as NRLW does. So there's no reason why NRLW, you compare it to NRL, and that's ridiculous. The NRL is an established competition that has been around for, like, it is arguably the biggest competition in Australia. So
that happens with all girls games around the world. They have a lot lower sponsorship than what the men's game does. It's a worldwide thing. It's not just Australia.
Yeah, but I think too many people compare what the NRLW is doing to the NRL. Like, they're not asking for the same things as the NRL. They're not asking for the same amount of money as the NRL. They're not asking to be on the same level as the men's competition. They're just asking for what is fair and reasonable for the competition that they actually have. And again, you compare it to other codes of a similar size and with a similar level of interest. What they are asking for is not unreasonable when you compare it to other competitions around Australia in different sports that have that level of people watching it, that level of interest. I think when you line it up side by side with the NRL and say, well, it's not as big as the NRL, it's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, because it's not as big as the NRL.
Oh, I just like playing devil's advocate and getting the conversation started.
It's only been around 5 years. It's going to take time, but they're on their way.
Make those tough statements.
Yeah, but I think they should have the game before the men's, because they do it way too late into the season. Like, sometimes
the girls don't want to play before the men.
They want to be their own thing.
They want to be their own thing. They want to play on their own place, their own.
Yeah, I get that, but like sometimes I forget we're even playing the women. I'll be honest, I forget. I'm like, oh, when's the women's playing? And halfway, I'm like, oh shit, it's half time. I'm like, like when I used to go to games, it used to be. I loved the 3-day game, the three games in a day. It was like, yes, it was so much fun. I would fight my way to the hill at Wynn Stadium or the hill halfway mark at Jubilee, and I will be there, sun blaring, raining, hailing, whatever. And girls, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Sorry, but come on. I know you want to be on your own. You're resilient, tough women.
One club.
Just come on. I want to see you guys before the men. I want to be like, yeah, go girls. Yeah, get them. Go. Crash them. Bash them. Come on.
Okay? We're supposed to be one club. Yeah, one club.
Yeah.
That's right. Every one club.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, yeah.
President's Cup, reserve grade, and first grade of the day. That was the best.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's a number of clubs that do that. They have the three games at the same venue on the same day. The Dragons, almost every game, apart from Thursday and Friday nights, they always have a game beforehand.
They're representing St George Illawarra, so yeah, they should be playing all in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Dragons tend to have 2 games. I'm not sure why they don't ever have the 3 games. So that I don't know whether it's Wynn Stadium or Cogra that don't allow it. But yeah, the Dragons on a number of occasions have pretty much every single weekend have at least 2 games on game day. And the number of people that show up for the first game shows you why they don't fucking do it, because no one's there. Like, Chloe, you might be there, but you're there with their friends and family and no one else. Like, there's not enough people that actually show up when they put these games on.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, but it's just fun. I love it.
I love it too. But
yeah,
if people want it, they need to support it.
Yeah, I know. But because I love to get the best seat. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. Let's go. And even I go, oh, what's the new up and coming player? Or I like to suss the other team out. Oh, what are these teams? I get it. I know, because half the time it is the friends and family. Yeah. So.
All right. Moving on, Hasman. I've got to say, when I saw the draw come out and we had the bye in round 1, I was a little pissed off. I said, what's the point of having a bye in round 1? But with all our current injuries, is it all of a sudden starting to look like a godsend? We've got the bye in round 1.
So I think it does. with all these, injuries and, I mean, the junior probably wouldn't have played in round one anyway with what's going on with him. But it does give the injured guys sort of that week extra to sort of either recover or to sort of get that extra little bit of training in that'll sort of help him, come game day. So, I reckon we've been it's turned from an absolute bloody, oh, fuck, we got the buy in round one to, oh, hang on, that might actually work out well for us. So, it might be a bit of fortune smiling on us there.
Does it put us behind the eight ball, though, being one game behind? Every other team has played a game already. They've started to gel. They've started to play well. Is it going to make us one game behind everybody else?
I honestly don't think one game is going to make a rat's ass of difference that early in the season.
We do get 3 buys in the year, by the way, everyone. Just so you know, we'll have 3 buys in this year due to like the Dolphins, Origin, and round one. So just did my homework on that. I was like,
good job,
3 buys.
Yeah, every team with 3 buys this year, and I've got to say, buys freaking suck. Like I hate it when the Dragons don't play. I want us to play every week, but and I think what makes it even worse having the buy in round one is that in round two, we're the last game of that weekend, of the second weekend. Everybody has played 2 games before we play our first.
Again, yes.
Like it is like Sunday, late afternoon, evening before we play in round 2. It's just a long time for us to wait. We're pretty impatient people here at the Mad Dragons Vodka.
Yeah, we have to be.
Today's a better fucking win.
Yeah.
They better be watching the Titans play in round one to check. Okay, who do we mark? Okay, which player? That's what I'll be doing.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, like don't be sitting at home playing your PlayStations and Xboxes. Watch the game. Get some homework into you.
Well, the coach is supposed to be doing that too.
Yeah, Mr. Coach. You too.
Get bloody Peter Griffin in there and get him to do some bloody homework.
I know.
All right. Another thing, a little bit of a shameless plug. The Mad Dragons Vodcast. We now have a store with some merchandise. Chloe, do you want to be our model?
I got the black t-shirt on. My partner got the hoodie. He loves the hoodie. I got a size too big, but I don't mind. I like the room, but it's very comfortable and I love it. So my dad's a Raiders supporter, so I had to explain why I've got this shirt on, and he's like, oh, so yeah, he's like, it looks good. So yeah, go and buy something. I want all of you to get your t-shirts for next week. Okay, you got your time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for
the start of the season,
anyone that is looking for to get onto the shirt, you can go to www.etsy.com. Just as I'm doing here in the search, type in.
Well, that sounds like me. Yes, I'm powered by coffee. Yes, that's me.
Mad Dragons VOD with no spaces, and it didn't come up. It didn't work. So this is going well. It worked when I did it beforehand. Okay. All right, we'll put the link in the show later. So as I said, we're all struggling here tonight. It's pre-season and nothing is working the way it's supposed to. But we'll put the link in the comments for the Mad Dragons Vodcast store, and we've got t-shirts as Chloe mentioned. As she's wearing, I've got one as well. As you can see, a different colour. So we've got a heap of different colours. Depending on what you like, and they all look fantastic. They feel fantastic too. Like I love wearing this shirt. It's feels amazing. And hoodies, singlets. We've got coffee cups. We've got beach towels. We've got a heap of different stuff available on there. So get to the Mad Dragons Vodcast store on Etsy and get your merch. All right. Hasman, the All-Stars game on the same night / weekend of the first weekend of trials. I mean, what are your thoughts on the fact that first weekend of trials, NRL sides are trying to get combinations together and all their All-Stars players unavailable?
Look, if you're a footy fan, it's it's almost a case of too much footy is never enough. But to your point, I think it is a bit of an error scheduling wise. In trial games, you want to get your sort of your new combinations going or whatever, and you're not going to be able to do that if you've got X number of players playing some sort of rep game. I mean, I wouldn't say Josh Kerr being in the seventh in the squad either way, just to be honest. But no, look, I think it needs to be on its on a standalone sort of weekends. Maybe even probably do it before the trials start, I reckon. But not during the same week, because you're robbing teams of vital preparation time to get everything ready for round one, or in our case round two. So I think they need to have a look at that and maybe they could switch it around a bit.
100% agree with what you said. I think it should be the way that it opens the season as a standalone game on that weekend. And you mentioned Josh Kerr, but for me, Tyrell Sloan. I mean, he's a guy that's coming in to fullback. We would love to have two games with Tyrell Sloan at fullback before the NRL season starts to give him that time out on the field, to give him that chance to start to form combinations, all those sorts of things that are really important. But he's playing in the All-Stars game, and I wouldn't want to take that away from him, because I'm sure it's a massive thing for him to be able to represent the Indigenous All-Stars.
Oh, no, 100%.
Or the Indian All-Stars, I'm not sure. But I'm sure he's jumping out of his skin to get out there and represent his culture. So I think that's phenomenal, and you want him to be able to do that, and all those players to be able to do that. But to take those blokes out of getting that chance to get cohesion leading into the regular season, I think that there's got to be a better way to structure it. All right. Moving on, I was going to go through some of the highlights of the lower grades on the weekend, but we've been going a while, so I might skip over the actual highlights and showing the highlights. But Jesse, I might go to you just to talk a little bit about the history making for the Dragons club, both the Illawarra Steelers and the St George Dragons coming into the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership for the first time this season, and mixed results for those two organisations. The Dragons getting fairly well thumped, but the Steelers had a fantastic performance in their first game.
Yeah, go Steelers! Woo!
Go the Steelers, yes. Good to see them back playing at Wynn Stadium. It was I didn't get to see all the footage of the game. It wasn't live streamed, but couldn't get to the game. But what I heard it was a great afternoon. 3 of the 4 Steelers teams got up. Zali Yo was got a double, so she's pretty good for big things. And Tegan Berry, she had a go at fullback, and she looks even more electrifying at fullback. She's got
I've heard that try was a long range try. Yeah,
she's a freak at doing them, and I don't know what they've got a real headache too, because Emma Tonegato's due back in the next round. But what do they do? Like Tegan Berry, she's a very capable deputy, and that's going to be a headache for the coach, Alicia Catewalk, who's currently assistant to Jamie Soward of the NRLW side. And, they've got the bye this weekend, then before they play on the Monday the 20th, so Monday week they'll be playing up at the New South Wales Centre of Excellence up against Elsie Albert's Wentworthville Magpies. So that's going to be an interesting game. As for the St George side of it, tough afternoon for them. No real big name players in that side. Mostly park footy players. We did the captain of the St George side,
was part of the 2018 squad for NRLW, Georgina Brooker. But yeah, four of our NRLW side were actually in the Bulldog side. Mona Lisa Soliola, Renee Target, Tara McGrath West, and one of our mainstays, Holly Wheeler. So, yeah, and they put the Dragons to the sword in that one, and yeah, they played it. So it's going to be another tough ask for the Dragons. And while the Sealers can rest up and get the 2 points, know that they've got players to come back into the side. Hopefully, Talia Fumano gets through the All-Stars game unscathed, and yeah, they can build off that and go up to Sydney and get the win against the Wentworth.
Yeah, no, it's obviously Illawarra with buys in Tasha Gale and the Harvey Norman's women's premiership this weekend. But yeah, looking forward to seeing them. I think St George. I think it's going to be a long season for St George and the Harvey Norman's women's premiership. I think the more disappointing thing for me was in Tasha Gale. They've been so successful in that competition and got fairly well thumped in that one as well. They've got a tough task. Their teams this weekend against the Western Suburbs Magpies, who they look a bit of a rejuvenated squad. If you get a chance to have a look at the Harold Matthews highlights, I'd suggest having a look at the Western Suburbs Magpies against Manly. They've got a halfback playing for the Magpies that looked absolutely sensational in that game, and hopefully the Dragons will get a good look at him this weekend and put him in their little black book as a player maybe to look at for the future. But we might move on now. Chloe, we'll go into prediction time, and we're not going to do it like last year where it was first try scorer. We're not going to regiment it like we did, but whatever it is that you want to highlight as your prediction for the game, maybe it's the result. Maybe it's the player that you think is going to play well. Maybe it's some other thing in the game that you think you can predict, like Moses Mbai failing to force a line dropout to get a try assist or missing more than 5 tackles, something like that. Whatever it is that you would like to predict, Chloe. What have you got for this game coming up against St Helens?
First of all, you've just put me on the spot, so now I've got to think in my head. So I'm going to be talking too fast. So, actually, I'm hoping the Dragons do win, maybe by 4 points. I'm hoping Blocker as captain will communicate. I don't know. I'm actually going to give him a go. And someone gives Conrad Hurrell a bit of a smack, like like Carrick. But someone else, maybe Jack. Oh no, Jack Miller's not playing. Someone, just someone, So yeah, that's my prediction.
All right, big T. What are you predicting is going to happen in this game?
I can't see the Dragons beating the full strength St Helens side. They've won four premierships in a row. I'd like to say they would, but I can't see it. Hopefully they put up a good fight, and I want to see Rava and Phoenix score 2 tries each.
If they can score 2 tries each, that'll go a long way to winning.
Pretty good. Be a pretty good game.
Which Phoenix?
One of them will score 2 tries.
Well, someone with a surname Phoenix to score 2 tries.
Yeah, maybe one
to Max.
Yeah.
2 to one of them. Who knows?
Give them 1 each.
Hedging your bets.
And Rava to make a great comeback.
Yeah. Hasman, what's your prediction for this game, mate?
So I've got I reckon Matt Feeney will get at least 2 tries. I think Mbai will show us why he doesn't play halfback. And I also predict that the summer heat is going to get the better of St Helens. Scheduled to be sort of around about 30 degrees on game day. So I reckon they might fade a bit towards the end. I don't think they're used to the hot Australian sun, and I reckon we'll come over the top of them and win by 6.
All right. Yeah. Well, you're probably the most positive so far, Matty. So it's I don't know what's happening in this world, but good job.
Well, it's not here, so someone's got to be.
Jesse, the robot voices. There's always at least one robot voice, I think, in every vodcast episode, and tonight is your turn. So, what have you got?
I don't. I think I just hope we're really competitive in the game. I'll take that. St Helens will. They're prior to this game. I think they'll have one eye looking forward to that World Cup challenge against Penrith next week. So they'll be looking forward to building into that with a bit of form. And get it'll take them a while to adjust to the conditions. They're used to playing in the cool, so they'll have to acclimatise to that. And I hope the Dragons can put up a fight and see how the combinations go. I mean, some of these guys are pushing for a top 30 contract because we do need to have at least 29 or 30 players before the season starts. So there's a big chance for players like Trey Stewart, Connor Moore-Heiss, and players like them to push for that top 30 contract, because we are struggling in depth for the fullback and the dummy half. So it gives them a chance to push for a claim. I couldn't really say who wins, but I just hope we're very competitive and give them a fight. I actually backing young Trey Stewart to bag a try at some point in the game. Hopefully he goes well and he pushes for a spot in the top 30.
Yeah. All right. I'll finish off with my own prediction. I think it's going to be a very, very physical opening 40 minutes. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tight. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored through the first half an hour, 40 minutes. I think St Helens, they are full strength, but I don't think their full strength players are going to play the entire game. I think you look into that wider squad, there's a lot of names that I don't know. The English competition in general is pretty shithouse. So I don't think it'll necessarily be the heat. I just think they won't be good enough at the back end against our young players that come on in the second half. I think the Dragons will come home all over the top of them. I think St Helens will lead 12-6 at half time, and the Dragons will win by 20 by full time. I think we'll run home all over the top of them. Cause a massive boil over and flog St Helens. So, yep, that's my prediction. The Dragons, as a joint venture, have never lost to an English team, and we're not about to start on Saturday. So there's my prediction. We might wrap it up there. It's predictably been a fairly long first show.
Is anyone going to the game?
I'll be
Sorry,
there.
Johnny.
Yes,
Is anyone going to the game on Saturday?
I am.
I am.
Hopefully lots of people are going to the game, Chloe. We can chat about that in the group chat. But yeah, hopefully a few members from the panel will be there. We'll be back on Sunday night for another VOD to talk all about that game after we have played and beaten St Helens and have
Tickets
won.
are still available too.
Yeah, well, we
haven't
will
got two
win the
tickets?
battle of the Red V. Thanks very much for joining us. And as always, come on, Dragons fans, fire up.
Dragon for life, baby.